Hello everyone, this is Joe. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to start a new playthrough of Shapez 2. I'm going to try the new manufacture mode. In this mode, we don't have a vortex. Instead, we have special buildings that produces specific shapes. And from this, we're going to build the Vortex Grand Assembler. You're going to see what it means once we get in the game. The different difficulties changes the number of platforms you have access, as well as how many shapes you need for each different goals. For the sake of this run, it's not going to make a big difference. I'm going to go on normal. Alright, I will not build any spaghetti factories. I am definitely doing that. Oh, you again. Remember that little incident with your vortex? Yeah, we're fixing that today. This is your dimensional waste receiver. In other words, where these weird shapes are spawned from. Process the waste at polishing station, then trade the result at trade station for refined shapes. Rebuild your vortex platform and we'll consider you giving a real simulation again. No pressure. If you've played Shapez 2 before, you normally start by mining some of these shapes and then sending that to the vortex. In this case, we're going to start with this shape here and then we're going to send that to a polishing station. Let's drop our polishing station here. It requires half of this, which means we'll need to do a little transformation. I always like to keep a bit of space in case I need to do more transformations. It's not the most efficient with platform, but it reads much better when you were watching the video. Let's go into space mode. I'm going to connect this here and here. This building creates tons of shapes. Let's start by unloading it. If I look here, that's the shape we saw in the building. What we need to do is to cut half of it and send it in a polishing station. This requires 3 machines per full belt, which means I'm going to need 12 of them for this. Let's split the load across the different machines. You can simply copy paste. If the game doesn't create the 90 degrees that you want, you can press C to create little anchors. The game tells us we have the next shape. It knows because we're tracking it on the left here. We simply have to send it on the belt and we should be good to go. If you look here, you'll see the number of shapes is increasing, but it's going really slow. Which means we need to scale up our factory a little bit. Let's copy paste this to some of the other exits. So now we just doubled up our production. Another thing we can do, because we're receiving shape on 2 floors, we can just copy this. Then do Control C, gonna press E to go up 1 floor and simply paste it. So now we're maximizing all the input of that platform. I'm just gonna replace this platform here with my new model. And I forgot if that was before this patch, but there's also multiple levels in space now. Which also means I can copy paste this, press E to go up, going to paste, and now we have 1 more full production chain. And now I just want to make sure that we use this pattern everywhere, so I'm going to copy this branch to all the other outputs. That's 1 nice optimized station. Now all we have to do is to wait till we hit 2500. And then we're going to see what this is going to create. Assuming it's going to be this shape, but just more polished. And there we go. Next, we got to go to the milestone. This is your main level up mechanism to unlock features. And we're unlocking trains right away. If you know me, you know I like trains. This is pretty cool. The game gives you a model in the help that you can copy paste to see how it works. Trains are pretty simple in this game. You put a train and a number of wagons in the back to hold the items. You need a cargo loader so you can load up the shapes in your train, as well as a train stop. And of course you need to unload it with the cargo unloader. But this is not very useful here, so I'm going to delete it and we'll put it at the right place. Let's go look at the shapes that we are creating now. Alright, it's what I thought. It's the same shape, but it's polished. If you want to see the exact code of the shape, you can click on the building and then click on the shape itself, and you can see the shape code on top. A layer is composed of 4 pairs. The first one is the shape type and the other one is the color. The key in this case is the unpolished shape. And if I click on the output, you should see something similar, except the U represent the polished color. Next, let's build a Ruby station. I'm just going to plop it down to see what it requires. We're going to need to reassemble the shape together, and this one is simply a circle on top of a square. If we click on top, we have the shop. This is where we can buy upgrades, including new machines, simply multipliers, as well as very different type of platform and stations. This one might be interesting, the research station, to make sure that we get additional research points. The cutter could be good because we wouldn't lose half of the shape every time we want to use only one side, but for now I'm just going to unlock the research station. I'm gonna start by getting the shape for our Ruby station. Since we have train, we don't need to be constrained by space. I'm gonna try to do an approach I had tried in one of my videos, which is a more modular approach, which means it's not gonna be the most effective way in some cases, in the sense of number of platform, but it should be much easier to read. Let's build our Ruby station area right here. The first shape we have to do is to combine two of the polished shapes. I'm going to do a train to pick up as much as I can from this and bring it somewhere we'll make a manufacturing area. Let's start by adding a red train. Let's add a few wagons. I think 4 should be enough. I'm a little bit too close, I'm going to move it. Here I'm going to put some loader. I'm going to add a train stop at the end, and that's going to be our basic train loading setup. And this is going to require 4 of them. Okay, I'm just going to go up here instead. I'm going to connect the belts to the loaders. I like the fact that we have multi-layers in space now. It allows you to be a little bit more lazy, but also allows you to save a bit of space. Alright, we'll have a nice train loaded with tons of shapes. I don't know how much I'm going to need, and I don't know how much I'll need later, so I'm just going to be conservative and just use these 4 of them. I'm going to make my manufacturing area, and just so that I don't lose it, I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a marker, and we'll call it Ruby Station. And I need something that's red, something like this. And I'll make my manufacturing area here. And for this, I'll take this nice little shape here. Next, let's create our train unloading area. I'm gonna need a train stop for unloaders. I'm gonna press F to flip it. And let's connect our train to our unloading station. I aligned this up perfectly. I'm just thinking about this. We can do as much as we want because we're not changing really the shape, we're just putting it together, which means it's never gonna be a waste because we'll need to transfer this anywhere. I'm just gonna make sure my train is moving. It is not because I did a little mistake. I did this on 2 different levels. Let's make a nice little drop here. There we go. I'm just gonna take all of these and send them straight in case I want to do something else later on. And let's just copy paste the platform itself. And what I meant earlier by having a modular way of doing things, I'm gonna put a platform down. And I'm going to take the top area here and send it to the right. And this is going to be just a basic platform that all it does is that it stacks what comes from the bottom with what comes from the right. I need 6 per belt, which means we'll need a lot of these things. All I have to do now is do that 4 times. I need to leave space to go through it, so I gotta be careful about this. And now I gotta send that shape here from the top on top of the other ones. And this is what I meant by keeping enough space, because I'll need to go between these 2. I could also do a jump, let me show you. And one of the nice changes they've done is that you can jump a variable number of squares, so you don't need to have always the same distance. I'm gonna delete this because really this is not needed here, it's just gonna make everything look more complicated. I'm gonna need 2 more set of stackers. And I just realized that I'm stacking 2 of the same shape on top of each other, which means we'll need to rotate it before we add it on top. Since the goal of this platform is just to stack them, not rotate them, I'm not gonna put the rotation here. Here I'm gonna destroy this, create an intermediate area. This is just gonna be to rotate it. And this just become another module in our approach, which means this platform, all it's gonna do is rotate them 180 degrees. And until we get the 180 degrees rotator, we'll need to add 1 more rotator after each of them. Now it should be the right shape, just need to send it, and the rest should work fine. And now we have the right shape here, we should also have the right shape here. Yes, we're correct. Alright, let's finish connecting the belts. It's a little messy, but since this platform only does one thing, it doesn't matter that much. Let's go to the right side, that's why I left the space. Alright, we have all the shapes. We're just gonna make sure that the belts are okay at the bottom, so we don't have speed issue. All seems connected correctly. Now we have these nice shapes being created. Here, this is taking a little bit more space than I have, which means I'll need to make this a little bit wider. This one I can do it here, and for the other two I'll put it in the second layer of space. Alright, the right side is ready, I just need to copy it. Copy this, press F, R a couple times. And we should be good to go. There we go. Okay, so that produces the shape for one of the two of our Ruby station. I'm going to create a very similar train setup, which means I'm going to create a train with a few wagons and I'll send that to the Ruby station. I'm going to start with the unloading area. I don't know how many I'm going to do, so I'll be conservative and leave a bit of space next to the Ruby station. I'm going to do 2 for now, and at worst I can just scale it. Let's put them on the same level of space. Let's connect the belts and that should be it. I'm going to need to build a train on the other side. You know how that works by now, so let's just connect the rail. And I just need to link this train to this one here. Alright, the train's at its first packages. Let's watch it unload them. Alright, the box is being deposited, which means we should start accumulating those shapes very soon. Yeah, alright. Like I always say, make sure you test it, and it's good to go. Before I move the next shape, I'm going to save some of these patterns into blueprints. Let's start with this one that stacks 2 shapes on top of each other. And I'll create a second blueprint for this platform here, although it's pretty simple. Rotate 180 degrees. If I click on blueprint at the bottom, they do not appear because I didn't put them in my blueprint bar yet. And now they show up at the bottom. Let's go back to creating our second shape. It's going to be a circle on top of a square. Okay, we have a square here, we have a circle here. That seems like the perfect place to gather our shapes. These shapes works like the good old mode, which means we gotta mine them and do whatever we want with them. You put an asteroid miner here. I'm gonna add 3 boosters so that we can mine at maximum speed. This is very simple. This is gonna allow us to mine, and you put 3 boosters so that the 4 different lights are enabled. So if I delete this one, only one's enabled. You should really have always all of them activated. I'm gonna put some mini miners. Very simple pattern. I'm going to save this one. I'm going to specify this is for floor 1. I'm going to paste this here and there. I'm going to change the output to go on the second floor. And I'm going to save this blueprint as well. Miner floor 2. I'm going to combine these 2 together. Going to give us 2 nice layers of shapes. I'm going to copy paste this at least one more time, and that's how much I'm going to make of this shape. We're ready for our train. Really just copy paste what we have in a bunch of places. I'll already make it bigger. There's no reason not to. It's just not going to be filled up. I mean, there is a reason. There's a small cost. We have a lot of platforms. We can put this a little bit closer, but I don't want to go too close from the red, which means I can just flip this like that. Alright, there's our train. I'm going to copy this exactly out for the circles, and we're lucky there's enough space to do it. Same thing for the train. There we go, we got our 2 shapes. Now we need to assemble our circle and our square. Put that in our manufacturing area. Maybe very similar to this, but not exactly. It's going to come from 2 trains instead of 1, which could be on 2 floors. Getting some ideas here. Like it's exactly the same thing, except we just have to merge them in the right place. Alright, just gonna copy this full thing. I'll bring this here. Okay, let's start with the square. This is only gonna come from 2 trains. I'm just gonna cut this first. I'm gonna create another train, but on the second layer. I'm gonna bring my train from here. Our square needs to be our bottom layer, which means it has to be going straight here. Let's reconnect it from the top floor. And we should have the right shape now. My train must have a misconnection somewhere. Guessing it's at the beginning. Yeah. That was more troublesome than it needed to be. If I go back here, now look at the bottom, you should have the right shape. Okay, this is coming on the top floor. What's the problem, game? I think the game is just being lazy. Ah, there we go. Alright, it was not showing, I think, because it was not the end of the line. We're good then. Okay, now I need to connect the other side. Might be a little tight for this one. I'm gonna lose the shapes we've built currently, but I need to move it. There we go. Let's reconnect it. Everything is moving. Alright. A little too messy to my taste. In fact, I'll just clean all of this up. Might even be able to bring it closer afterward. In fact, I'll even remove the second floor. Sometimes it's better to just refactor the whole thing. Let's zoom in a bit and review what we need to do. The square will need to come on the bottom floor, and the square will need to come on the second floor. Here I'm going to put a platform. Here I'm going to split them to have some that goes forward and some that goes to the left, just so that I can have more space to play with. So that means that every square will be at the bottom regardless on what layer they came in. I'll copy paste it on the other side and flip it. I'm going to do the same thing for the circle on top. But this time I want to do the opposite. I want to send it on the second floor. Alright, now we have two floors with the right shapes. Just need to merge this together. Alright, this is ugly, this is long, but this is gonna work. Now I'm gonna create another platform so we can do more shapes. And I'll simply connect it from the output on the left. Alright, we have the right shape. And here, I'm just gonna make sure I send it to the second floor so I can stack it in this train here. Let's connect it and we should be good. Alright, everything is moving, this one as well. We should have both layers being accumulated in a second. There we go. Just need to replicate this on the other side. It is not symmetrical. Alright, before that drives me crazy. There we go. Now I can just copy paste this. F, couple R's. Good to go. I could have done it many different ways, but I'll keep my artistic rendition here. Let's make sure this is still good. Alright, let's bring this train all the way to our Ruby station. Gonna stack this on the second floor. And let's complete this by adding the track. There we go. I just need to connect this shape here and we're good. Alright, let's make sure this is loaded correctly. Our cargo station is loading up slowly. It should be going full speed just to be sure. Yes. It's the same module we had earlier, so that for sure should be fine. Our train is coming, it will pick up its first packages. Our first box is ready. Load it up. Let's go wait for it at the Ruby station. Here it comes. Alright, and our first shape should start piling in. There we go! Build a donation station to start generating research credit. Alright, that's the next thing I wanted to do, so let's do this. This is gonna finish before we start, but that's okay. We have a donation station and also the research station that we unlocked earlier. Let's see what are the differences between the two. Maybe they have different shapes? Oh, I see. Research station produces shapes on top of it. Oh, there's something else too. The donation station goes much faster. But this one has the advantage that you generate the base shape that you have at the beginning. So it gives you a way to have unlimited of this. I'm gonna go with the donation station. We don't need extra shapes yet. And as I was saying 2 seconds ago, we are done before we even started the donation station. Let's find a place for our donation station. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna add a marker so we don't lose it. Let's look at the shape we need for this. We're gonna need half of the polished shape as well as half of the inverted circle. We already have a lot of polished shape that I'm not using, so I could use some of that. Oh, I'm not even using the second floor here. Well, there's the shapes we can use for our new shape then. I'm gonna start by connecting them, then I'm gonna take some of it for my new shape. I'm gonna need to break my module by sending that the second floor, which I don't like. I'm gonna fix this between the 2 episodes. I could create a module to transform it, but for now I'll just do it like this. So that will double up the production here. I'm gonna take this bottom one here and I'll send it above and create a little factory up there. There we go. It's not gonna be the fastest, but those are just donations, so I don't think we need to maximize everything yet. This is gonna be the equivalent of our unloading station on this side. Alright, now I'm gonna create a module to split this shape in half. And once I unlock the splitter, I'm gonna redo this so we can double up the output. And I'm gonna need to stack them, which means I would like them to be on the right direction. Let's add our modules that rotate 180 degrees. Right, this is the left half of my shape. Now I need to find the source of the inverted circles. There's gonna be a source of this nearby. There's one here. Nope, that's a spike. There's one here. Alright. Let's do the same thing we've done here. It's gonna be simple. This is a huge one. I think I'm just gonna fill all my wagons. Alright. Let's add a train stop and then I'm gonna lay down my tracks. I'm gonna need only half of this shape, but we already have the pattern for this. I'm gonna copy paste what we built here. I'll put my third manufacturer here. And then I'm gonna need exactly this to combine them. I'm gonna line them up, it's gonna look nicer. I'm gonna transport the shape by train, which means I'm gonna add another loading station here. I'm gonna add another stop to this train, which I'm only gonna offload the third wagon. By the way, while I'll build the rail editor Joe here, I just want to say that this is not going to work on the first try because there's something that we haven't unlocked yet, but I decided to keep it in case you're trying something similar. I'm going to add a train stop here with 1, 2 empty and 1 unloader. And I want the train to go back and merge where it was going before. And you can go this way. Alright, let's build the transformation now. Even made it slightly more aesthetically pleasing. Why didn't it stop here? Maybe it doesn't work if you have a space here. It's an unlock. We need to get this station spacer. I'm gonna need to do a little refactoring, but it shouldn't be too bad. For now, I'm gonna create a new train. And we'll load it up in that mini train instead. And I'll connect it to the extra path I've done earlier. I simplified the top and now it should be loading up correctly. This is rebuilding. By the time I'm done with this, it should start loading correctly. Let's get my blueprint to rotate 180 degrees on the floor number 1. The left side of the shape is ready. I'll just need to connect this to the left with a different train. It's a little overkill for one belt of items, but at least I'm able to scale it later. Alright, this is all connected correctly now. It's a little bit slow, but at least it's the right shape. Let's take care of the other half of the shape. Bring the shapes from here, and I'll do the same thing. I'm going to cut them here in the manufacturing area. That should leave enough space to do what I want in the future. Let's get the rail so we can offload it. Alright, that's connected correctly. Let me check the shape. Alright, that's the right shape. This one I don't need to rotate it. Let's ship it in there. And this mini train has to go up here. And if I look here, no, I should have the right shape. There's gotta be a problem somewhere. Well, that's definitely not gonna work like this. Alright, we should be good now. Let me test again just to be sure. There we go, it recognizes it as the right donation shape. And maybe we can put donation station on the other side, just to have a bit more space. You can move the marker by pressing on it and clicking move. Let's drop the donation station again. This is really a 1-2-1. Is there multiple entry from that? Yeah, multiple floor. They can be stacked, which means we can be very aggressive with the train. We can unload it, straighten it. And I'm gonna add a few for scaling in the future. I had already built my train, so I just need to add the rail. I think that's it. And once I get a bit of research, I'm just going to unlock the machine here so you can cut it and not lose twice as much material, and we'll just be able to double this up easily. In the meantime, let's see what's going to be our next milestone. Sapphire in painting. Ooh, interesting. For this, we're gonna need to gather some colors, green, red, and blue. Some of them will be simple, like this, we just need to paint the existing shape, same thing for this. But it's gonna get a little bit more complicated as we go. See here, we got our first donation. It's going pretty slow. We did get some credits. I'm just gonna go get the cutter, because that's definitely a very useful one. And by the way, if I look at operator level, you can see this is where we get the levels for our shapes. And now that we unlock the Sapphire, we have a second shapes we could do for research. If we look at the research station, you can see that the second level is enabled. And as we get different operator level, this is going to give us 300 credit, and we'll be able to buy more items in the shop. Let's go change our module so that it uses the cutter instead. We'll develop the production by not wasting half of the shape. Let's start with a clean sheet. Let's go to cutter. This will be 4 per belt. It's going to take a bit more space. Maybe I can stack it like this. Now I gotta make sure I have the same shape. And each of them is 30, which means I think one rotator is enough. Yeah, it's 60 each. Alright, that's about how much space I'm gonna need for each belt. Alright, that's one belt completed. I don't have enough space to put them one next to each other, so let's be creative a little bit. That should work. This is gonna get real messy. Alright, I can fit one right up there. And the advantage of doing our stuff modular, which means we're always going to have the input from the bottom. This is of course if we follow our own rules. Alright, that's 3 done. And I'm just hoping I have enough space to put the last one. And we're good. Like, this is going maximum speed. This is not going at all. That's the thing about these machines, if you don't have an equal output on both sides, it just jams up. So you gotta be careful to not do like I just did. Okay, 120, you can see it's visibly going fast. Same thing below, I think it's just catching up. Alright, so this is our new cutting machine. I'm gonna do the same thing here. And here we just have to copy paste, we can have the 2 floors. Here comes the first batch on the second floor. Why is this not getting anything here? Oh, it's just slow. Now we're only taking one piece of this. Alright, that's a problem for something I can fix off camera. And I think here I'm already equipped to do 2 floors, so I don't need to add anything. It's just gonna double up the output here. There we go. It's slowly filling the second floor. Alright. I think it's a good place to stop this video. That covers the basics of this mode. As we progress through the different milestones, it's gonna get more and more complicated. Next episode, we're gonna do the painting, and then afterwards, we're gonna start doing things like mixing, have a 3rd space level, some pins, and crystal before we get to the grand assembler. That's pretty fun. I like the fact that they created this mode. It's different enough that you have the feeling you're not doing the same thing than before. Probably gonna work on this off camera a little bit just so that I can make this a little bit faster so we don't have to wait, but I'll only concentrate on the shape we already have. If you are enjoying this video, consider hitting the like button or leave a comment. As usual, thanks everyone and have a great day.